For as long as I can remember, I have been curious about and fascinated by the world and people around me. Just ask my dad. He loves to tell the story of 2-year-old me sticking my head under the car while he's mid oil change, asking, "What you doing? Can I help?" Even then, I wanted to understand how and why things worked the way that they did. And that curiosity followed me through school. Just ask my teachers. I was the social butterfly who was always getting in trouble for talking in class because I wanted to get to know, truly get to know and understand everyone around me. In fact, this curiosity is what ultimately led to my conversion. It's a long story for another day, but I walked away from Christianity sometime early in college. Some stuff had happened and I wanted to understand why, so I decided to look elsewhere. I dabbled in Kabbalah. I contemplated Judaism. I explored Buddhism and eventually ended up on my own version of some kind of New Age spirituality. For about 15 years, I identified as spiritual but not religious. But something was still missing. There was still a longing in my heart that I couldn't describe. Looking back, I can see that that same desire that had me sticking my head under my dad's car and talking to everyone that I met is what eventually led me to look at and ask bigger questions. Questions about faith, about meaning, about purpose, and God. Then one day, my son told me he wanted to become Catholic. I wish I could tell you that I was on board, but I wasn't. I had a lot of preconceived ideas about the Catholic Church, and honestly, most of them weren't positive. But I decided to keep an open mind and unpack my biases. The more questions I asked, the more answers I found that I had been searching for years. The more that I learned, the more things made sense and the more God opened my heart. One of the biggest surprises to me was learning that the Catholic Church actually welcomes questions. For years, I just assumed that faith and reason were at odds with one another. Instead, I discovered a faith that invites us to ask questions so that we can grow deeper in our understanding. Somewhere along the way, I discovered St. Anselm of Canterbury. He's a doctor of the church, and his motto was faith seeking understanding. When I first encountered those words, it felt like someone had put into language what I had been experiencing my entire life: faith seeking understanding. Not faith without reason, not faith afraid to ask questions, faith seeking understanding. And today, I have the privilege of serving on my parish's OCIA team and walking alongside many people who asked a lot of the same questions that I once had. Questions about faith, about the church, about God and life and purpose and meaning. I open many of the sessions I lead with a prayer by St. Anselm of Canterbury. It begins, "O Lord, my God, teach my heart this day where and how to see you, where and how to find you." This prayer to know God is where the name Teach My Heart comes from. For me, it captures what this project is really about: faith, seeking understanding with curiosity and humility, trusting that God is guiding us every step of the way, one question at a time. Welcome to Teach My Heart.